Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need you guys to do one thing for me, and that is to close your eyes. Imagine this. You're sitting on a beach, and the water is rushing to shore. You're hearing seagulls. You feel the heat from the sun, and you are in your perfect happy place, and nothing can ruin this, all right? And all of a sudden, a 1,500 horsepower monster truck hits a giant sand pile, and it is ripping through the air, doing donuts, doing all sorts of shit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what you could get at Monster Trucks on a Beach. I think that's the name of it. I don't know. I just learned about this the other day. Call me a fake fan all you want, but listen, Monster Trucks on a Beach. It's pretty cool. I've been seeing a lot of videos and TikToks of these monster trucks on a beach, and by God, it's actually pretty sick. Seems like the perfect mix. You got the beach, and you got monster trucks, and you got some pretty sick trucks performing. I'm not gonna lie. From all the clips I saw, it looked pretty good. Like, it looked like a damn good show. Better than any Monster Jam Arena show. I genuinely find it kind of wild that this has become more of a thing. I get it. It's on a beach, so you got sand. I'm not going to lie. Sand and monster trucks, I don't think mix that well for the sake of working on the trucks. Fun fact, my second ever show, it was Tom and Chuck Warner. And Chuck Warner, I think it was an inner or an outer axle broke. I think it was an inner axle. So we were taking apart the corner. We're taking it apart in a thrash. This was like my first ever thrash. It was kind of wild. When we were doing it, I was working with Chuck and Jackson, and we were pulling the corner apart. And then all of a sudden, they hand me a part. I toss it in the sand. They hand me the axle into the sand. And then Chuck yelled at me, rightfully so, because, you know, we got a good outer axle that is now caked in sand. So I didn't throw it on the pan. It was a fun time. It was a good learning experience. But all in all, I would hate to work on anything that requires... I would just hate to work on any inner parts or oily parts in the sand, because it's pretty much, as soon as that shit touches the sand, it is game over. But all in all, clips I've been seeing are pretty cool. The trucks are getting some pretty good air, and I honestly am considering going to the next one. I thought some of the trucks that performed there, pretty high, they performed pretty well. And I saw Ryan Disharoon was there performing in Shaker, and I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about Ryan. I don't know how he's not in the Monster Jam show right now, or he's not at the World Finals. Maybe it was something like Monster Jam didn't want to bring him back, or like they didn't give him a good offer. I'm not sure how the old independents work getting into Monster Jam shows, but he's hand down. He will throw it down hands down, he will throw it down in freestyle, and he did. I watched his freestyle, and it was a pretty entertaining freestyle, and it just, all in all, you can't complain. Monster Trucks on a Beach is probably the place to be. I'm not going to lie. Now, here is my one thing that had me thinking when I was just looking at the track here, right? All we got is just little barricades. They had some sand piles, whatnot. All I could think about was, what if a tire broke off and went into the water? I mean, granted, I'm sure it'll float. I think. Science? Just into the crowd. It starts making you think more on the whole safety aspect of how Monster Jam is probably not going to perform at a show like this because of situations as so. Because the other thing I could think of, because Ryan's freestyle, he did wreck by the water. And I looked at that like, what if he tried to save it and he just went into the water and turtled right there? And it's not a lot of water, but the water's coming in, and he's gonna get like waterboarded because, you know, the fire mask that he's wearing, it's covering his mouth and nose. It made me go like, hey, that's an interesting situation you could possibly get yourself into. It just had me thinking about it. Like, hey, safety is one thing that I looked at this. Like, I would watch this show from a balcony. I wouldn't be that close to it. That's just me. Because it just, that's the type of shows that are different between the independent shows. Is Monster Jam safety is you have a stadium wall to protect you. Granted, like that one truck when that tire flew off.
Oh my, oh no! Holy crap! Oh my God! No way! Oh shit!
I don't know if that was a failed tether or if he never had his truck tethered, which is a very, very nice thing to have for Monster Jam, is tethered wheels. And it flew off over the stands. Now, in this show, I don't think you have to worry too much of that. I'm not sure, but anything can happen. And that was the one thing I was looking at this whole show was I would hate to be the driver that has a bad wreck into the water. I understand you can try to get to him quickly, but it's so much wrong can happen so fast. I'm not trying to take away from the show. The show itself looked a lot of fun, and it looked pretty exciting. So pretty much my knowledge on the monster trucks on the beach is not that great, other than when's the next one? I need to go to it because it looks like a fun show. The freestyle, the racing, the trucks there, Blockhead. I didn't even know Blockhead existed. And by God, you're looking at some of these trucks that are performing. Like, how are you guys not in Monster Jam? We could definitely use some of these instead of a second Megalodon, a second Sparkle Smash. You know what I'd rather have than a second Sparkle Smash? Blockhead. You know what I'd like to have other than a third Megalodon? Shaker. There's better truck IDs that we could get a good variety of at the World Finals, but instead, we're just going to duplicate. I love how this, I was trying not to talk about Feld as much this episode, but hey, we're back. We're talking about Feld. Go ahead and comment down below your guys' thoughts on monster trucks on a beach. I hands down, it was a great show. I had a lot of fun watching it. So yeah, comment down below your guys' thoughts. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.